Yo, what up? This is vlog number 15. Thank you for tuning into my vlog. Today I'm going to be talking with the man, the myth, the legend, my coach, my pop, my uncle, my mentor, my brother, Kendall Ficklin, and he's going to share a little bit about mental health. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this vlog. And you know what we're talking about. Mental health, baby. Let's get it. Peace. Today is day one of the Real Social Proof Conference. Man, I'm excited. Ready to get some knowledge, some understanding, some wisdom. Let's get it, baby.
What's up, man? I'm just gonna ask you a question real quick. It ain't gonna be that deep. I'm gonna ask you, are you ready?
Been ready.
That's what I'm talking about. Been ready for social proof. You hear that? You hear that?
Hey, I'm here with the one and only
Abraham
Scully, y'all.
My guy.
This is my guy right here. He
My
taller
guy.
in person. He taller than
Just
me.
a little bit.
I thought we was the same height.
Just
you know
a
what I'm
little
saying?
bit.
Got me feeling all. Hey.
So, the question really was when you got that main goal, that passion that's in your mind that you're wanting to build, develop, and turn into a business and a brand. How do you manage the time between putting that effort, the energy into the passion and the dreams, and also managing to maintain the daily, the job, the grind, and dealing with the family, and everything like that? How did you find that balance? What made it easy for you?
So definitely not easy.
Yeah.
And the one word that sticks out is self-awareness. So you have to know within yourself, when are you burning out? When do you need time to commit to other areas? And for me, it was really, all right, so I think I have an advantage being that I struggled with severe depression. And so when that happened during my freshman year of college, I was in 2014. When that happened for me, it really put me in a spot to where I had to realize what's really important. And not only that, but how can I optimize where I am and also stay sane and also have that balance and also make sure my mental health is a priority. So because I was in such a dark place, I created systems to make sure that I never end up in that dark place again. There are a lot of people who don't make that a priority until they hit rock bottom. Until they're like, oh shoot, now I gotta, make this a priority. But because I hit that, I now have systems. So like for me, weekends are my time to really practice self-care, to practice that balance, to spend time with family, and it's a priority, it's a non-negotiable. So I observe the Sabbath. So Sabbath being from Friday at sundown to Saturday at sundown, there's no work. So, and that's with whatever. So that's my time to just recharge, develop my relationship with God, do like things that are relaxing. But I think the biggest thing is self-awareness. This is where you have to know yourself and know, okay, at this point, like I'm approaching burnout. Let me be proactive before I have to react to the burnout. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
That's clear.
Cool.
That's love.
Yeah, man. Much love, bro. Much love.
Is that the only wireless mic? I can go up to the front.
Yo, Nikki's in the building.
Are y'all feeling it over here?
Because I was a Catholic, and I figured that would translate real well. This is who I was. Let me just tell you something. My abs are still the same, okay? Let's just be clear. The abs are still, okay, maybe a little different, but listen, the abs are close, okay? So this is Pretty Willie in 2002.
Motive was wrong. So because my motive was wrong, my fruit was wrong. I kept attracting the wrong people, deals going up and down. Move on to YouTube. Father, the last question that you had for them was, what is my motive? And I know that you can work with pure motives. So Father, I just pray that you will purify every motive in the room. Let it be to bring you glory. We honor and appreciate you. In Jesus' name.
Do this. Like, what did it cost you? How many times did you question yourself on the journey to your purpose and your mission and what you felt you were called to do? Like, what did it cost you? I want to know, what did it cost you? Right? It's like when you talk to people at the beginning of every year and they got their resolutions, they got their declarations, and they're going to tell you how they're going to do it and how they're going to work it out. And I told one of my homeboys, he came to me, he had goals, dreams, aspirations, had an elaborate plan, had a business performer. It was all good and great. I said, bro, you told me everything except one question. What are you going to do when you don't get what you're supposed to do? Mike Tyson said it. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Everybody gonna lose weight until the third weekend in March.
You wouldn't be able to see this board, can you? Wonderful. That was 4 of you, but wonderful. So,
just raise your hands if your target market is in this room. Just look around. It ain't about the information on stage. What's your number? What's your number? 5-1.
And my man put something on, and he was like, I want you to listen. Tell me what you hear. And you know, you somewhere, and you listening, but I was thinking about business. I was thinking about all these things, and I told myself in my head, stop thinking about that, because he can ask you what this is. It's difficult for me to concentrate, because you always got something else on your mind. That was the second question. What are you willing to let go of? Y'all ready? I want to get that type of, in that program, because I'm coaching, right? I was really doing business. Right. And that's what I'm saying. But I let them into my personal life. My wife, with the kids, with the therapy, I kept it real, talked about some numbers a little bit. Then I talked about your personal life. Where's your numbers? Where's your score? And then gave you a way to come up out of it. That's what I'm talking about. Don't ever get caught up in the hype. Connect with, and that's, when you do that, the floodgates gonna open. When you do it, the floodgates gonna open. You got 60 seconds to do this.
Yeah.
Should be straight.
What's going on? We on vlog number 15, mental health vlog. We talking about mental health, of course. I got a couple of questions for my coach, my guy, my mentor, Kendall Ficklin.
Appreciate you.
All right, so as an entrepreneur, how important is your mental health?
Oh, it's like number one. People, a lot of times we talk about health, and most people only think that it's physical health, like fuel and fitness. But really, the most important part is the mental part. I would say the mental is the most important part. Like now, I'm going to go see a therapist. And I know my wife said, I told my wife I'm going to see a therapist, I'm not crazy. She laughed at me. She's like, you are crazy. But if your mind is not right, if you got so much stuff on your mind, you're not going to be able to produce at a maximum level.
Powerful. All right, so as an entrepreneur, have you or do you ever experience social isolation? What's your experience on that?
Absolutely, yeah. As a matter of fact, here's what's so funny. I was telling my therapist last week that I've always been doing stuff by myself. So it's almost like when I got to this point, I'm used to, at a certain point, going into my own space and my own zone, right? And that's good, but you can't live in social isolation. You need to learn how to go in solitude and do the deep work. Not just the work on the outside, but the internal work, the heart work. And you need to do that in solitude. Sometimes social isolation is good, but not in long spurts, just in quick spurts. Just like if you're in jail, they put somebody in solitary confinement, they go crazy because they've been in there too long. But if you do it in short spurts, it can be great for your health. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question. What are some barriers when it comes to mental health resources, maybe as an entrepreneur, because a lot of times we may not have insurance, may not be able to provide the specific resources or whatever the case is. What are some barriers that stand in the way?
So there are no barriers except you, right? So even if you don't have insurance, you got a job, you can work. They got clinics, they got free clinics. You can go get a free shot, or I'm sorry. They got free clinics for you to go and get everything. The barrier is you're not putting in the work to go and get or seek out the information. You ain't Googled it. You haven't hit Google to say mental health, I ain't got no money. Like, Google that and see what comes back. There are no barriers. We are in 2019. There is enough information to get you help. There's resources. You are stopping yourself. If you got a job and you got insurance, you can go. The biggest thing is the ego, and most people don't want to die to their ego, and that's what's killing people mentally.
Yeah. What does self-care look like for you? And have you made it a priority over the years, or you take time for self-care?
Self-care is what I call my core four. That's mindset, making sure I'm putting in positive stuff, health set, making sure my physical as well as my mental health, my balance, the time I spend with my family and those that love me and those that I love. And when I'm doing those three, that's what my self-care looks like.
I hit my daughter up the other day and I asked her to do something for me. And she said, well, Friday is my self-care day. And she told me all the stuff that she does. And I laughed with her and I was like, I understand that and I respect that. And that's important. Make sure you take care of self first. And when you take care of yourself, you're putting yourself in a position to be able to take care of everybody else.
An example of self-care, something that you do.
Yeah, just sit down in solitude. I got one better. Detox off social media for 30 days. Let's start right there. 30 days detox. After you get about the shakes, the first or second day, when the shakes wear off, and after then you'll start to see a difference in the way you think.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Love it.
You went over your 1 minute.
Yeah,
I like the way you did it.
I did. Thanks, Coach.
I love the way you did it.
This is powerful. We're on vlog number 15, and you know what we're talking about. Mental health, baby. My name is Abraham Scully. I got Zakira Ficklin here with us today. Zakira, I got a couple of questions as it relates to mental health.
Yes.
All right. So as an entrepreneur, right, how important is your mental health?
It's super important. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, or in this sense as women, we tend to have this superhero cape on where we feel like we have to do everything and be everything for every single person. And sometimes you have to really just detach from the world and actually fill yourself back up so that you can continue to pour into other people.
Yeah. Have you experienced any of that mentality as a woman yourself?
Definitely. So last year, 2018, I was diagnosed with clinical depression, and I had very high, severe anxiety. And I realized it came from wanting to be everything to everybody else and not being exactly who I needed to be for myself at that time.
Powerful. Thanks for sharing.
No problem.
As an entrepreneur, have you or do you experience any social isolations?
I've always had that support system around me. I will say that sometimes I felt like I wasn't understood all the time, but I've always had that support system behind me that anything that I've ever wanted to do, I've always had people behind me 100%.
Love it. So you mentioned about being diagnosed with clinical depression. So I'm sure your answer to the question of have you ever had dark days is probably yes.
Definitely.
So as it relates to dark days, how have you gotten through those dark days?
So what I did was I started going to therapy.
Okay.
So for me, there were days where literally I would be in the bed and I wouldn't want to get out the bed. I would call me like, hey, I really just can't come to work today. I have X, Y, and Z going on, but I really couldn't pull myself out of the bed. And for me, I just started going to see a therapist. And that's the first step. And therapy isn't for everybody, but for me, it was the word. I could say that that's probably the best investment that I made 2018 last year was getting a therapist, definitely. So that was my guidance out of the day.
What has been one of your biggest takeaways from therapy itself, maybe from your therapist or just your experience of sharing with a professional?
Living for me, understanding who I am, what I want, and then making sure that I'm practicing self-care.
All right, leads me into my last question. What does self-care look like for you? And is it a priority?
Definitely. So I have a day throughout the week where I do nothing but just self-care. And the day varies. It could be a Sunday, it could be a Wednesday or Monday, whatever I decide for that week. But I go get massages. I do. Sometimes I'll just sit in my room with my lights down, light my candles, watch a movie. I'll turn my phone off. I'll go to Piedmont Park and run or walk or have a picnic by myself. There's so many different things that you can do with self-care. But for me, it's just literally not feeling pressured with anything. So whatever that is for me, where I don't have to feel pressured, that's my self-care.
Yeah, and I definitely want to plug Calm Her Co.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So Calm Her Co, I started that at the top of this year, and that was something that was birthed through the process I went through last year with depression and anxiety, and it was something that my therapist helped me, come up with. So it's for everybody who doesn't know what self-care looks like. Calm Her Co helps you understand the importance of self-care.
Love it. Thanks, Akira.
Thank you, Scully.
With my guy Ambition over money.
What's good, man? Hey, what's good?
Talk to us, bro. What's the word of the day, bro?
The word of the day is
give us some motivation. What you got?
Be around like-minded people. That's all I got for right now.
Get it. Let's get it. Man, real social proof. Real social proof conference was fire. Shout out to David Shands, my big bro, mentor, the guru of entrepreneurship. Shout out to all the attendees, all the volunteers, the entire team that made Social Proof what it was. Day 1 is complete. Day 2 coming up tomorrow.
I got so much information. One of the biggest takeaways for me is take ownership of your last name and be the CEO of your last name. It's a big responsibility, and it requires that you no longer make excuses for what the generations behind you have done, but you take full responsibility and ownership of your last name and what you have to create for the future generations. So yeah, man, I learned a whole lot, and we out here. Peace.